Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Loc Goddess. Welcome back to my corner where I inspire others to dream more, live more, and become more. All right, so if you are clicking on this video, maybe it's your first time watching me, maybe it's not your first time, but regardless, you have clicked on this video because you either have starter locks or you are a baby in the lock community, okay? So first of all, if you are new here, I just want to make it known that this is not a lock channel. However, I do post lock content because I really want to educate you guys and to just give y'all the tea, because I realize that there are not a ton of content creators that are out there. I want to be just, you know, in the pool of people to give you the tea, to give you advice about your locks. So please do not forget to subscribe, but only subscribe if you feel in the vibe. And let's just get straight into the topic of today. So in this video, we're going to be talking about what to expect with starter locks, okay? So you just got your hair retwisted for the first time, or you're just starting your locks for the first time. You have no idea how to maintain your hair. You don't know what to expect, okay? You are like a fresh newbie in the lock community. And first of all, I just want to say, come on, bring it in, give me a hug, oh gosh, welcome sis, welcome to the lock community. Let me just start the video off by giving you guys a little bit of tea and a little bit of background about my hair, because I'm sure that some of you guys are probably new, you've never clicked on my video before, and you have no idea about my lock story. So first of all, I will kind of link some videos above that's just giving you guys more details about just the history of my locks and everything like that. But just to give y'all a little bit of backstory, I have actually had my hair for almost 17 years now. Now I'm sure some of y'all looking at it like, girl, how is it 17 years and it's looking like this? I did recently cut my locks, okay? They were just about down to my butt, and I cut them all the way to my shoulder. So if you want to know exactly why I cut my hair or just the tea on that whole story, then I'll make sure, listen, I'm gonna link everything down below. Anything that I talk about today, anything that I mentioned, whatever it is, I'm gonna do my absolute best to link it in the description box for you guys. So anyway, we have rambled enough. Let's get into the topic. So first things first, and you may have already experienced this, but frizz. You are definitely going to experience a bit of frizz, or like you're gonna feel like your hair is unraveling a lot sooner than what you probably think that it should. But the science behind locking your hair, like the whole nickname behind having locks, is that your hair literally has to have time to lock together, meaning it's to the point where if you put a comb through it, your lock is not gonna come out. It's just gonna be completely locked up. They're gonna be intertwined and knotted all up together in holy matrimony. When it comes to starter locks, your hair is still gonna be soft. It's still gonna be somewhat in its loose natural phase. And so it's probably gonna like unravel a lot quicker than what it would if you've had your hair for a year or 2 years and your hair has like locked and it is considered being at the mature stage, okay? I know for some people it can be super annoying when it comes to like the frizz and feeling like your hair is not neat, and you might be tempted to like go to your loctician again and get a retwist after 2 weeks. But that is the quickest way to thin out your locks. That is the quickest way to thin out your roots, your edges, and all that good stuff. So yes, I would say frizz and unraveling is something that it is completely normal. I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10 you're not doing anything wrong. It's just that your hair is still a baby. It is still locking together. And so with that, you know, sometimes you're gonna have your frizz. It's gonna, you know, be probably sticking up everywhere, probably looking a little crazy, but you know, embrace it. Honestly, I always say rock the locks, don't let the locks rock you. So whatever you have to do to feel comfortable. I know some people might get lock extensions to avoid that, you know, like the shorter phase. Some people might wear wigs, some people might do scarves, some people might get extra piercings in their ears or their face. Whatever you have to do to feel more confident about your hair, then you can definitely do that. But more than likely, you're not gonna be able to escape the frizzes. So the second thing that you can expect with starter locks, you can expect to be going to your loctician on a more regular basis. More than likely, when you go to get your hair twisted for the first time, it's not gonna lock up right away. Like that's not how locks work. You have to give it time. Some people it can take like 6 months. Some people it can take up to a year. It really depends on the texture of your hair. Softer textures, it might take a little bit longer, versus if your hair is a little more coarse, like mine was when I first started. My hair locked up like that. I think I was locked in maybe 6 months or less or something like that, which is considered a little bit fast for some people. But yeah, so you want to make sure that you are visiting your loctician on a regular basis for a lot of reasons, to be honest. But I would say, first of all, about 4, they'll probably tell you to come and get your hair maintenance every 4 to 6 weeks. Really probably 4 to 5, because again, they want to make sure that they're washing your hair. They want to make sure that it's kind of growing in the right way, like the right direction. They want to make sure that it is being maintained in the proper way. And really only a licensed person person can tell you how to maintain your hair. Unless you yourself are a loctician and you know how to maintain your own lock, it's good to get advice from other people, but in all actuality, you really want to make sure, even stuff that I say, okay, you want to make sure that you're going to your loctician to ask them like, hey, you know, I was watching Lock Goddess on YouTube and she told me, and to be honest, sometimes they might agree. And sometimes they might say, oh no, don't do it like that, do it like this. And so that's another thing that I would say, like sometimes lock advice can be kind of subjective. It just depends. But the advice that I give you guys is really just based on my personal experience. You might watch another person and they might tell you something completely different. But my advice is to make sure that you are visiting your loctician on a regular basis, because they're gonna be the people who can answer all the questions you might have. Or if you notice something about your hair, you can send them a picture and say, hey, I noticed this. You know, what exactly does this mean? Why does my hair look weird? All those little like questions that you think in your mind are probably weird or something that you should panic about, your loctician is going to be the one to be like, oh no girl, that's just this stage, or that's just this phase of your locks, don't worry about it. So what I love about locticians is that they really just kind of bring that peace of mind. And so that's why I would say, if you are in your beginning phase, do not try to maintain your own hair too soon. Like I said, I know some people might disagree with this, but personally I think that that's just the best practice until you really truly learn about your locks, because no two sets of locks are going to be identical. They're all going to be completely different. My hair is going to look completely different from your hair. Your hair is going to look totally different from another person's hair. So you want to make sure that, all in all, what I'm saying is listen to the professional and allow them to maintenance your hair. When you're going for your retwist, that's when you can ask all your questions, or you know, if you have that relationship with your loctician, you can send them a text to ask them certain things. But yeah, but overall you can expect to be at the shop a lot more often, just because your hair is going to be in the locking phase at the very beginning. And so because of that, it's going to require a little more maintenance and a little more hands-on activity and all that kind of stuff. But regardless, that's the best thing that you can do, at least I would say the first 6 to 7 months until you learn your hair. Make sure that you keep up with your hair appointments. So the next thing that you can expect to be impatient. You can expect to be impatient. I remember when I first started my locks, I was in 6th grade. I was like 11 going on 12, and I literally remember coming to school when my mom did the finger coils on my hair. If anybody ever wanted to know the method, my mom used finger coils to start my locks, and I just remember very vividly my friends saying like, oh, why don't you just comb them out, they're not that long, you know, blah blah blah. And I was in that really like strange phase where, like, I don't know, it was weird because people would talk about my hair and I feel like I would be kind of insecure about it, but it never made me want to actually cut my locks off. So shout out to me, because clearly I had confidence at 11 years old. The lock process is not something that's easy. It's not something that you're just gonna embrace, that when you first start your hair, you're gonna be like, oh, this is the best thing ever, I love it. It's more than likely you're gonna have your moments where you're gonna be super frustrated with your starter locks, and you're really gonna wanna get to the point where you be like, you know what, I'm just gonna comb it out. Like, I'm gonna comb it out. More than likely, I have seen people who have combed their locks out at the starter phase and then they end up getting them again. So just give yourself that peace of mind, okay? Give yourself a chance to actually love your hair. It's not going to be super long at first. I know a lot of people now are getting like lock extensions because they might want to jump over that short phase, which is fine. Honestly, that's your prerogative. You do whatever works for you. But when I got my hair and when I started my locks, when my mom started my locks for me, I didn't have any of that. Honestly, I didn't have access to wigs. I didn't have access to lock extensions. I couldn't do a braid out over my lock. It was just my natural length. And so what I would say too, like I mentioned earlier, do whatever you need to do to like maintain your confidence when you're getting your starter lock. But for the most part, stick it out. I don't care what you got to do, as long as it's healthy for your hair. Make sure you ride it out, because I promise you, in the long run, you're gonna look back and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I did not cut my hair. And when it gets to that length where you can really start rocking your styles and you can really start just doing really funky stuff with your hair, you're gonna be so happy. And locks are just so low maintenance. Like, listen, there are so many things I love about having locks. Even at my shorter phase now, since I've cut them, I still do not regret getting locks. Like, sometimes I look at other people, like Loose Naturals, girls who do wigs and weaves and braids and all that stuff, and I just be like, It is totally normal for you to feel impatient. It's okay for you to feel frustrated. It's okay for you to not like the starter phase if your hair is shorter and you're not feeling it. All of that is totally fine. But regardless, stick it out. girl. You could be pissed off, you could be mad, you could do whatever. You could say, I should have never got these, blah, 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 but do not take them out. The reward is so sweet at the end. So this next one, people don't really talk about this point a whole lot, but I do want to make it clear that there is a very large lock community, okay? Like, we stick together. I feel like it's a whole sisterhood out here. Like, there are some YouTubers who I watch who have beautiful locks, and I'll make sure that I leave their names on the screen so that y'all can go subscribe to their channels, and so you can kind of get a different perspective of people's lock journeys. I have literally come across some amazing people who have locks, and it gives us, like, you know, a very cool conversation to have. Like, you know, if you in the Target line and you see somebody behind you who has locks, or somebody in front of you who might also have starter locks, it's a conversation starter, right? So like, you can walk up there, oh girl, I love your locks, how long have you had them? And then now y'all are going into a whole routine of what y'all do to maintain your lock, how you started them, who's your loctician, all this different stuff. So for me, one of the things that I love the most is just the fact that you have a lock community. And then now, you know, it's 2022. There are tons of like lock Instagram pages, lock Facebook groups, just different things. So like, if you ever even have like specific questions, aside from asking your loctician, you can always hit up another girl or another guy who has locks, and you can just kind of ask them like, hey, what did you do during this phase? Like, how did you maintain this phase of your hair or that phase of your hair? And they can kind of give you that really good advice. So I think that it's really cool because, again, when I started my hair, I didn't have access to any of this stuff. So the fact that now people can literally just hop online, type in how to maintain starter locks or something like that, and pull up all these different people's channels and videos and all that stuff. For me, it just feels like a very tight-knit community where we give each other advice, and we all know exactly how it feels to have locks. We know what it feels like to be frustrated with your starter locks and different things like that. So if it wasn't for things like Instagram and me looking up like hashtag 502 locks, hashtag Louisville locks, hashtag DMV locks, I would not have run into a lot of some of my favorite locticians, number one, but number two, I wouldn't know half of the styles that I know unless there was a lock community. So shout out to anyone who watches my channel who is a content creator or someone who's just giving me advice about my hair. You are a real one, because I don't know what I would do without y'all. So the lock community is truly here for you, starting with me. So the next thing that you can expect with starter locks is something that you're actually already doing, which is you can expect to increase the time that you're doing research online. More than likely, if you're just starting out your locks, you probably aren't an expert. I know for myself, for example, I've had my locks for years and I'm still not an expert. Like, sometimes when certain things happen, I get right on Google and I'm like, what is this? I can say honestly, really expect to like invest that time in learning and making yourself knowledgeable about your locks. And I think that that is super important, because sometimes you won't necessarily always have people to go to, even your loctician. And if 2020 didn't teach me anything else, it really taught me the importance of knowing your own hair, because if the world shuts down, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna have nobody to go to retwist your hair or do anything like that. So out of all the years that I've had locks, it wasn't until 2020 that I truly started like taking the knowledge about my own hair more serious. And that might sound kind of weird for some people, but again, I've had my hair legit since I was a little girl. And so for me, I guess I never really took like the research and all that stuff more serious. And so now that I'm on this platform, it's so funny because it took me a really long time to even start doing hair content, because for me, it's something that I was so used to because I've had locks for so long. And so when locks really started becoming popular, like, and I'm making these lock videos and I'm seeing how popular they are, I'm like, wait, people really don't know this information. Like, let me go ahead and try to put it out there, or at least put out what I know, you know? So you're gonna spend a lot of time just researching, trying to find people who have your exact texture, people who have the same number as you. I get this question a lot. How many locks do you have? You're gonna be doing a lot of research, okay? Because there are gonna be questions that you want answers to. And the cool thing, like I mentioned earlier, the cool thing about it is that you have people who are out there now who can probably relate to exactly what you're going through. So like, if you're experiencing maybe like a lot of dandruff or buildup and different things like that, and you type in, why do I have buildup in my locks? More than likely, you're gonna come across a lot of different articles, or people are probably gonna have videos on how to get rid of buildup. They're gonna show you how to do an ACV rinse, all that stuff. So you do wanna make sure that you are investing in your hair, invest in that time and invest in that research, because again, if the world shuts down, who is gonna maintain your hair? You're the only person who's actually gonna be able to maintain your own locks. So you wanna make sure that you're doing your research and making yourself more knowledgeable and educating yourself on exactly what your hair is doing. So last but not least, the last thing, and this honestly, there's so many other things, but just for the purpose of this video not being too long, the last thing that you can expect on my list when it comes to starter locks is, depending on the length, you can expect to not be able to style out your hair for a while, especially if you're starting off and they are like really short, right? If they're little baby locks, you can't do a whole lot with those just yet. So I've seen a lot of people, again, I've seen people do wigs, I've seen people do lock extensions because they don't really want to go through like the shorter lock phase. I say embrace it. I say embrace it and do whatever you can to make yourself feel good about it. But until your hair gets to a certain length, you're not going to be able to do like ponytails or buns or barrel twists and just all kind of stuff. You can always tell when your hair is growing because styles that you weren't able to do at the very beginning, maybe a year from now into your lock phase, you'll notice that you can do these styles. So that's the cool thing about it. So like I mentioned earlier, just make sure you stick with it. Honestly, like locks, I feel like can be a very, very, very beautiful thing. Like being able to rock certain styles or just being able to do certain things with your locks. It's really a beautiful thing and you want to embrace the journey at all angles. All right, guys, so that is going to be the end of this video. I'm strongly considering a part 2 because I feel like there are a lot of other things that I maybe like didn't mention or things that I've missed. But of course, if you have any questions or if you want to see another video that is related to locks, anything related to lock content, make sure you leave me a comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to check the description box about anything that I mentioned, any YouTubers that I mentioned or anything like that. Everything will be linked down below and I will see you guys in my next video.